Okay. It's officially recording.
Oh, good.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Brad.
Should we tell people why you requested to record this, or shall we just discuss a bit further?
Well, we're going to do our movie reviews, are we not?
Oh, yeah. We're going to do, Josh and I have wanted to do drunken movie reviews for a while, and
seeing as how we've both been drunk for a while.
Since the end of the world is nigh, we decided the last thing that should ever be posted on the internet is us yelling about movies that have been out for 5 to 50 years.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So why don't we start with one we agree on, and then we'll go to one we disagree on.
All right.
So the one we agree on is Thor Ragnarok.
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 You don't even know how to say the name of the movie.
Of course I don't. I'm not that kind of boy. I'm not watching that movie for the same reason you are.
No, we both agree on Thor, but for very different reasons. I love the movie because I think it's hilarious. You love it because you evidently like to masturbate to the Hulk.
Okay, we can't just, like, there are reasons for this. Like, it's not, it first of all, it tracks with who I am as a person. The Hulk is absolutely what I want in a man. I want him to be utterly two-faced. I want there to be a sweet, sensitive, intellectual version of him, but then when I make him angry, he becomes a violent green sex monster.
Sure.
So,
Which speaks to health, mental health, anyway.
And I had a crush on the Hulk.
You've always liked the Hulk.
I had a crush on the Hulk when I was a kid. I've never read comic books. So I had a crush on the 1970s TV show.
Lou Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno. I had a huge crush on him as a kid, but only when, like, the Hulk was out. I didn't care that much for the other actor.
Sure. I just like Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah. I just wanted Lou Ferrigno to just kind of burst out of his clothes and pick me up and put me again.
You wanted Lou Ferrigno. It's the dumbest and worst and greatest Lou Ferrigno pun ever.
Lou Ferrigno, more like Lou Ferrigno. Yes, please. And so then when they made the new Hulk, I find both versions, including the CGI. The CGI one is oddly sexual to me. Like, he's perfect. Because he's funny. Like, he's not just violent. He, like, talks a little bit, kind of interacts, like, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't just smash shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I can see you liking Ruffles, too.
Ruffles.
He scans with you.
But he's that perfect balance. Like, he's who I want to have help me cook Thanksgiving dinner. But then, like, when my grandmother says something horrible, I want the CGI one to come out and throw her through a window.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is our friendship. This is why you like me. I basically look like Mark Ruffalo, but I'm an alcoholic. And I get angry all the time. You're in love with me. I'm not happy about this realization.
It's okay. I'm used to unrequited loves with CGI characters. So you're actually a step in a healthy direction because it's just a friendship.
Oh, good. I've always been a step in a healthy direction.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually how that tracks.
That's what everyone's ever said about me.
So you like that Thor movie?
I love Thor Ragnarok. First of all, like, say whatever you want about whether or not a higher power exists. I fucking, like, the whole God doesn't give with both hands. He did to Chris Hemsworth.
Wow.
That man is beautiful and hilarious.
Stunning.
Oh my God, yeah.
Physically painful to look at because he's so pretty. It's like staring into the sun.
I was at a fancy hotel restaurant nearby, And
You're literally now
walked in.
talking like English is your second language. I was at fancy hotel
I
restaurant.
was at the fancy hotel restaurant. But he walked in and he was wearing the exact same All Saints t-shirt as I. And I was like, well, that's not fair. I was like, is his 6 sizes bigger?
You're like,
And
now
also,
I just have to like.
why does it still look tight? Oh. Yeah, I was like, does he smell like rainbows? Because I bet he smells like rainbows.
That's the problem is I worry that I mean, he's Australian and he's very manicured, but I also know that's like part of the Hollywood thing. Like, I want to know when he's not working. Like, I don't want him to smell like rainbows. I want him to smell like a
dude.
Like a jockstrap. I want him to come in out of the ocean still having musk on him. And
this is evidence of the difference between hetero and homosexuals. I want him to smell like rainbows. I don't want him to smell like a man at all.
I don't want him to smell like a man at all. I would prefer it if he wore like Jessica McClintock as a perfume.
Yes. Yeah.
Or maybe Sunflowers by Elizabeth Arden.
I just want him to smell like a rainy day.
a rainy day. That would be a rainy day with Chris Hemsworth. There's gay fan fiction right there.
Absolutely.
The problem is he's way too every interview he does, all he talks about is like his routine. Like he's like, you gotta get out there every day and go fucking surfing and like he's like, I'm like, no, honey, you don't have to leave the house every day. You absolutely don't.
I adore your Hemsworth impression.
It was a little bit of like a chimney Chiru kind of Hemsworth.
I'm not even going to bother doing a Hemsworth impression. Whatever movie we talk about next, I'll do an impression.
Okay, so you know what movie we talk about next because we have had vivid fights about this movie for years.
Oh, all right.
Neverending Story.
Oh. These hands.
Oh, they look so
strong.
No, let's get to the part we disagree on.
All right.
The horse.
Artek?
Yes, Artek. It's Atreyu. Or no, Atreyu's the little boy. See, we barely even...
Atreyu's horse. Yeah, well, Atreyu's the little boy. Artek, I think, is the name of the horse.
Yeah, Artek. Yeah, that sounds right.
And he dies in like 2 seconds, which makes no sense.
That is my argument. It absolutely makes sense.
No, that horse should not have died that fast. There was a big setup about like he's the fastest of all the horses that dead.
Right, which is why it has to, because now the kid, this is his best friend and his partner in crime, and the one who actually gets him every place quick is gone. It's like when Daenerys has dragons. Once they're full grown, the bitch can jump kingdoms in like 45 minutes. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, well, I'm glad that you're using Game of Thrones as an analogy because it's also really poorly written. But yeah, let's use any other terrible work of fiction.
Ooh, you are gonna get tweets.
I hope. I hope I get them from Daenerys.
Which is totally what they still go by their names. They still go by their character names.
I don't think they're real people. Although Dinklage is Dinklage.
Dinklage is, yeah, but Dinklage was already Dinklage.
Yeah, I mean, Station Agent was fantastic. Dinklage gets to remain Dinklage.
Amazing. He was amazing in Elf, and he's barely in it.
Absolutely. Man, don't make a size thing.
Wow.
There are no small parts.
You're not right. No. It makes sense for Artek to die there. He shouldn't be able to move that fast through the world. He now has to overcome his own loss. He has to be left with nothing so that he can face the nothing.
Did we think, though, that Atreyu didn't really have any emotional growth? Like Atreyu, like the horse died, theoretically, like his whole world, and then like 2 scenes later, he's like meeting Falcor and going on rides. Like he didn't really mourn
Well,
Artak
he
all
walks
that
until
much.
he's almost dead from mourning. And the wolf has almost caught up with him, and Falcor swoops down and picks him up and saves his life.
How did
Also,
Falcor know?
go watch, because Falcor is a luck dragon. He appears when you need him most. Go watch the scene
You're
where
a luck
Falcor
dragon.
has dropped him off with the old couple who give him all the medicine, and they're like up on the mountaintop. And literally there's a scene where the old lady's talking to Falcor about Atreyu, and she says something to him about like taking care of him or doing, and he goes, "That's no problem. I love little boys," and then turns to the camera and winks. I swear to God, go watch the scene. It's this.
I haven't seen the movie in a while.
Once you see that moment, you can never unsee the fact that Falcor might be a pedophile.
Oh, Falcor's for sure. There's no, like he exists in the world only to fuck little boys. Like what else? What other creature would a little boy want more than a luck dragon?
A flying plush dragon that's like furry and soft like a shag carpet.
Yeah, he's a giant flying puppy. Of course he's a pedophile. Like if any pedophile could manifest like a daemon, it would be that of a luck dragon. Like if you could turn into anything that a little boy would let in their room, it would be Falcor.
I mean, I will say up until the time I was probably 14, it would have been either Falcor or He-Man.
Yeah, I would say.
But if He-Man shows 14, up at my house, my parents are suspicious. If a half-naked, oiled-up man riding a cat with a saddle shows up, my parents are going to think there's something up sexually. If a puppy dragon comes in, it looks sweet. It looks fun.
Yeah, they'll let in Falcor.
They know that He-Man's going to be sexual.
What was He-Man's real name?
Adam.
Adam. And
he was the Prince of Eternia. His father and mother were the queen.
Eternia?
Yeah, Eternia is the name of the place they lived. Oh, I know He-Man inside and out. Because Adam, they basically wrote He-Man inadvertently to be a homosexual coming out story. He wears all pastels and has a bob haircut. He has a secret he can't tell anyone. The only 2 people who know his secret are a guy named Man at Arms, who looks like a Tom of Finland painting and works on cars.
All right, it scans. So far, it scans.
And then the only other person who knows his secret is a dramatic older spinster woman who lives down the street in a Gothic castle named the Sorceress, and she's always got drama, and she's always calling.
B. Arthur was in.
What?
I said B. Arthur was in He-Man?
Oh my God. The fact that in the live action version, that horrible live action version with Dolph Lundgren, they didn't use B. Arthur as the sorceress.
My favorite thing about Dolph Lundgren is that everybody's always like, he's like fluent in 6 languages, right? Like, why is everybody so concerned with proving that Dolph Lundgren is smart?
Well, they do
smart.
They do the same with Melania Trump. Also, almost anyone raised in most of Europe speaks at least 3 languages.
Yeah,
like in Portugal, it's actually in Portugal you can't graduate high school, I believe, unless you speak 3 languages. Well, so it's just America where everybody's stupid.
Yeah, if you're European and you don't speak 3 languages, you're a fucking idiot. That's like me saying like, oh, I speak Arizonian and San Diegan. Like, it's fucking right next door.
Right. Well, and also, like, I don't know what his 6 languages are, but, like, if his parents are from 2 different countries, then he could have, first of all, been raised in a bilingual household. They could have been living in a country that was neither of their homeland, so there's a 3rd language. We've already got half of them out at birth. Like, he would have had to learn them no matter what.
Plus, he has to speak English.
Right. That works. So there's the 4. And most people in Europe learn to speak English. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so it's
everybody in Europe speaks English.
Yeah. So
I mean, I spent like 3 weeks in Paris for the first time in my life.
Oh, and, but like Paris and Nice and Berlin and I've been in rural France where I've been like, ooh, I'm going to have to pull out some 8th grade and 9th grade French to get us out of this one.
When I went to Paris for the first time on the plane, I was just like, oh, I'm going to learn French. I'll just figure it out now. And that's what I thought. And so to me, what learning French meant was ordering things. Like, I was just like, oh, I have to do
Je voudrais la baguette.
So I got there, and like day one, I like marched into a coffee shop, and I was
like a cowboy. Did you walk in with spurs and side shooters?
I had spurs on.
I had just had a double hip replacement, so I was a little wobbly.
I'm old. But so I went into the coffee shop and I was like, I'm going to nail it. I've got this handled. And I was just like, what did I say? I said, puis-je boire un latte à soja, s'il vous plaît? And then the person said something to me in French, which I was not expecting. I was not prepared to listen.
You just went, oh,
because I'm a narcissist.
No.
Well, what I did, which is even worse, was I just went, pardon.
Oh,
and then they repeated it.
Oh, no.
Why did I think that was going to fix anything?
And you didn't even ask them. You also didn't ask them to, like, speak slower or, like, even mention, like, you know, je parle un petit peu, so that they could have. You were just like, no, I'm French.
I didn't know any of those words. I just knew how to order stuff. So then they repeated the thing in French back to me. And again, I said, pardon. Like all cute and French-like. And the girl behind the counter just said, I asked you your name. Yeah, I lost that French.
Wow.
Yeah, it didn't go great.
Okay, this is the last story we'll tell because it involves French, and then we'll stop recording and we can have a real conversation as friends. And this counts as us working today in comedy. Two of my really dear friends have a villa outside of Nice in Villefranche, and the first summer it's a setup. You need
just two of my friends have a villa is a totally normal way to start a story.
You see my Instagram, I live a weird fucking life. One day I'm eating the ends off a stale loaf of bread. The other day it's fucking champagne and caviar. So they take us to this beach club the first time I ever go to their house. And their house is amazing. It's one of those like, fuck you, impressive views. And they're lovely. And like they rolled out the red carpet. So they take us to this beach club all day long. We drink a preposterous amount of champagne and rosé. We drink between 5 or 6 of us. I think we drank something like 12 cherubims. So basically, like everybody. Cherubims, yeah.
Aren't those the little angels?
No, cherubims are giant bottles of wine. It's the next size up from magnums. It's like 3 or 4 bottles.
Oh, what am I thinking of? What's a
You're
tiny
thinking
angel?
of they're named after the cherubim. They're named after tiny angels.
Oh, okay.
But in wine world, a cherubim is the next up from magnum.
I want to live there. In wine world.
In wine world, it's so much more fun than Westworld.
Oh my god!
I know. I went to the
episode 2, Westworld.
So we're coming home and we are shit-faced and we are hoping to find some party favors. And they're having their regular driver who drives them all the time bring them back up to the villa. And I'm like, this is fucking the south of France. He's got to know someone. And they're like, well, we don't want to ask because we deal with them all the time. I'm like, you live in a gated community in the south of France. Every single person in every one of these villas is high as a kite every day, I guarantee you. So I go, don't worry, guys. I know some French. And I am so drunk, I just start fluently speaking French because I took 6 years of it in school. But I never have used it since.
You also took 8 years of ordering cocaine in school.
8. So I literally just start speaking fluently and I hear them, they're a couple in the back. And the one's going, Jesus Christ, what's Brad doing? And he goes, I don't know, but shut up. He's fucking speaking French and he's getting us what he wants. Just don't fuck him up. He'll remember he can't speak French. Don't let him know he can't speak French. And then we got home, and then 30 minutes later, it was there. But I was like, the next day, I'm like, I have like a 30-minute French conversation with the driver. And they're like, you did. You guys like had a full conversation about life. I'm like, I don't remember it, and I could not read it if you wrote it down on a piece of paper now.
That's why, to bring it back to the Neverending Story, everyone calls you Fal Cocaine.
And with that, we'll stop recording our first test episode of Drunk at the Movies.